culture.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So,
Did you
like,
went to school out there?
Yeah, I went to Catholic school my entire life until college. So,
Your
that.
Rhode Island Catholic school wasn't gay friendly?
No, it was not. It was very not
Where did you go to
happy gay.
college? Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, Massachusetts, Western Mass, and then I went to grad school in Boston.
The whole state is colleges.
Yeah, everything.
Like 900
Everywhere you go,
colleges in Massachusetts.
college.
Yeah.
There are more colleges than gas stations in the city of Boston.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Speaking of colleges in like,
And they're both ripoffs.
Yep.
I was on the.
Next Obama.
This is not a full story, but I think about it sometimes and it cracks me up in retrospect. I was on the plane at like years ago. I don't know how long ago. 5 years ago, maybe more than 10 years ago. And I was sitting next to some girl. And we were just having the like completely idle like plane, like sitting next to a person conversation, and I was like, "Oh, where are you headed?" She's like, "Oh, I'm going to school. Like I got into the school and I'm moving there to to whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, where'd you get in?" She's like Barner or something, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Like where's that?" She's like, "Oh, Massachusetts." I'm like, "Oh, like where?" It's like, "Oh, it's like near Boston." And I was like, "Oh, huh, I've never heard of that." She's like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we like. I had this experience of like 30 seconds straight of me not quite hearing what she said to me, like, what was it you said school? And I realized after I got off the plane, she was talking about fucking Harvard.
I know Harvard.
Like, and I'm sitting there being like, oh, I've never
Never heard of it. He's like, oh, it's funny because it's like the first college we had. It's like
and
number
it's
one.
basically the best one.
It's like first and best.
But she was so
Sort of like the Coca-Cola.
She was so earnest
just
about
because
it.
of her personality type, presumably, she didn't want to be like, it's like the best school. It's the
It's
one
fucking
that
Harvard.
everyone has heard
There's
of.
a movie about it called Stealing Harvard that
Yeah,
came out
like-
like 10 years ago. It's the college of colleges.
Yep. And she was
like
just
calling
being,
video
like,
games
so,
Nintendo.
oh god. It cracked me up in retrospect. I felt like an asshole.
What's so funny
as
is
well.
I would have been in the airport, like walking to my next flight or whatever, and be like, I gotta go find that fucking girl.
I know, right?
I know what Harvard is.
I
You're
know,
at Harvard.
I know.
Congratulations.
I know,
Congratulations.
I
It's a
know.
big achievement.
I felt
have
so bad about
I
it.
know what it is. I'm Chris Ring with my idle thumbs. I know what it is.
Yeah,
I just love to imagine the conversations she had after that. She's like,
Who's
"What
this guy?
I was like, this guy, he seems smart. I mean, he
this
seems
was
smart enough."
long
And
before the podcast.
No,
I'm
it's
pretty
during the
sure.
podcast. I decided. You guys were having idle conversations.
you know what Harvard was? Maybe he was like Canadian. I don't know. Like, I just
Maybe
imagine.
he's just an idiot. Just
Maybe
a really
he's
stupid person.
Maybe, yeah.
Not that Canadians are. I think Canadians are smart. Sorry.
Canadians know what Harvard is. I
Yes,
think.
they're probably
Depending
do.
on what Canadians are talking about. Yeah. I'm sure there's some Canadians who don't. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
a Canadian who doesn't know what Harvard is. And there's a Canadian baby who doesn't know about Harvard.
Yeah, somewhere out there, there's a
I was sitting
3-year-old.
next to this Canadian baby on this airplane. Weird. I don't know why he was flying alone. Unaccompanied
It's a
minor.
brave little dude.
A brave little
Dudette.
Canadian.
So it's like Canada.
The brave little Canadian. Yeah.
He was also a toaster.
The movie poster for that, the baby would be wearing a Harvard like sweatshirt.
Little Crimson.
Harvard baby.
Baby Crimson. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I had like 9 questions queued up when we were talking about you growing up going to Catholic school.
Oh, that's okay.
But they'll all be very personal. We don't talk
that's
about it on the podcast.
fun.
It's not a big deal.
It's an open book.
Did you play video games when you were
Yes,
young?
my whole life, the whole way through. Baby Danielle is playing video games.
How did you get into video games?
I got into video games because every other kid who was 4 or 5 was playing a Nintendo.
You're a
and
Nintendo family.
Yeah, I was a Nintendo
That's what
family.
happened.
I was in a Nintendo family, rather. But I played a lot of Genesis games, too. I played everything. I just love
I probably
games.
never would have gotten into video games except my uncle bought me a Sega Master System, and that was kind of it for me.
That was
My
the
parents-
beginning and the
yeah.
end.
And my parents actually got into our Nintendo when we got it.
Oh,
My parents used to play Mario. I used to hear them at night.
that's really
Mario.
nice.
Used to overmeet my
That's
parents.
what
at
they were
night
doing.
playing
I used to
Mario.
hear that like it was actually just the Mario pause screen, and they were boning. So
Oh, right. Those are just the sound effects, Sean. Don't worry.
yeah, just, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, they
when
did-
my parents have sex,
apropos-
when my parents have sex, it
nothing,
sounds like a warp
they would
whistle.
They would just yell that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the sound effect, Sean. Don't worry about it.
Play Nintendo.
Yeah. Did you want to like? What's
a
your
break?
path?
Oh.
Like, how did you become a reviewer? Were you like?
Oh, it's super weird. It's
whatever.
super weird. I went
Are we
to.
running out? Sorry, I will sit here for all.
Okay, I'll tell you my life story some other
God
time.
damn it.
Yeah,
You just-
it'll be
you just
fun.
We can come back. We can come back.
Oh, we have a
Let's
break.
Take a break. Yeah.
We're gonna come back and
Sounds
talk about
good.
the life story
I just-
of
My
Danielle
life.
Riendeau
My whole
or
life.
Bioshock DLC. Haven't really decided.
It is we.
I just wanted to.
That's really
we
like
have
my
the
life.
the
you know.
mid-roll. I understand.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, the AMC original series Turn. You can catch it on Sunday at 9 p.m., 8 Central Time on AMC.
Yeah, it's a historical kind of espionage drama about the
Puerto Rican Day Parade, where they were all trying to get into this one apartment to use the bathroom, so they came up with nicknames.
Oh, that's right.
It was like Pennypacker and...
And the traffic was bad, and
Yeah.
Elaine kept going in a cab. I
Yeah.
remember that episode.
So if you like that TV show,
well,
you're
this
going to
also
love
was, like,
AMC's original
this
series
was
Turn.
also people like creating code. Like the Culper ring was named after like two of the spies in it who went by Samuel Culper Sr. and Samuel Culper Jr. But that also wasn't their name. That was
Right.
just their like made up name.
Yeah.
But then they also had like code numbers. Like there's Agent 355 is like there's like a female agent made reference to in like various like fucking missives, and people still don't know who she is, which is a fascinating thing. Like they apparently there were several like women spies in this organization, and they were like valuable in part because clearly at the time it was so assumed that women would just like adopt whatever their husband's beliefs were and like not have like any kind
Wouldn't be part of a
involvement in
spy
military-
ring.
Life outside the home.
But it
yeah.
was like not suspected nearly as much, but like ended up becoming super important.
So yeah, we haven't seen the show yet, so we don't know how much of this stuff is integrated into the text, but we're definitely going to check it out.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
you should
presumably
too.
if the show goes for a while, like there's more of this stuff. I don't really
Yeah.
know what the plan for that is, but it seems like a super fascinating topic. So.
Yeah, and that's Turn. It's on AMC this Sunday, I believe, at 9 p.m., 8 Central Time.
Yep.
Actually,
I was going
to. Nah. Yeah.
I don't watch Saturday Night Live, but I watch
The mouth to the if.
monologue.
Oh, I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, he hosted this week on Saturday, and his opening monologue, he ended up talking because we were talking about
May the die.
the women's suffrage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's like, women have only been allowed to vote in America for like 98 years. So like this democracy in America is 98 years old. Like fuck that. It's not a 200. Yeah, it was really good. It's a very good bit.
If that, right? Because I mean, like
Women's. So the sad thing about women getting the vote is that the first state to offer the vote to women was Wyoming because they weren't allowed to have a senator if they didn't have enough voters to hit the minimum. So they're like, ladies, fucking just get out there and
Equality.
give it your all, non-men.
Non-men.
wait, senators or representatives?
Representatives. That's what I
Okay,
meant.
yeah.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to have
They get
representatives.
fucking 2 for no goddamn reason.
I know that's the
Even though
that's the
there's
Wyoming
nobody
stat.
fucking there.
That's like the big stat bump. Wyoming secretly runs most of the country from like their two bumbling idiot
an
senators.
individual Wyoming is like
A Wyomingite.
an individual Wyomingite is way more powerful. Like,
If they had
federally.
senators who could read
If they were literate.
or
Me
give a
too.
fuck about anything that wasn't their tiny little narrow, then yeah, they would be really powerful. That's correct, Chris. Yeah. Anyway. You know what John McCain from
We
like
have the worst in
1998 could have
California.
done as a Wyoming senator? Could have kicked ass. But you know what? They had Al Simpson for so long, and that guy's a badass. That guy's really cool. Really nice. Yeah, ahead of his time. Like, one of the greats. Yeah. Definitely top 10 senators of our time. Yeah.
Top 10.
Of our time, for sure. He's amazing. Yeah. I mowed his lawn once. I mowed his lawn once with my buddy Ryan Kelger.
I heard that I met his mom once.
I met his mom once.
And
She's
that's
dead, actually.
basically
She
the
died in
same.
1968.
Similar.
Yeah.
You're basically making the same claim, essentially.
I knew it then.
Oh, I'm meeting a person versus cutting some grass is a little different, right?
No, but it's the same in terms of what it suggests about your familiarity with. Like, if you meet
Well,
someone.
he lives in my town, which is a town of like 6,000 people, or
That's
it's
what I'm
more
saying.
now. So
That's-
it's like as a
saying
kid, I feel like he knew me by sight, but I know he really didn't, even though I talked to him a few times. But it's weird to be like, sorry, this is not on the podcast, but it's weird to be a 6th grader and a fan of a senator. That's a weird thing.
That's kind of
like,
adorable.
yeah, I was
actually.
super
Yeah,
into
that is
like,
pretty
yeah.
good.
'Cause The West Wing came out a little bit after that, and I was like,
Also,
super...
I love the evolution of like one of the great senators, and then like the reveal of like he talked to me a few times.
He is though literally one of the great senators.
his
He's
line.
literally fucking one of the fucking lions of the Senate from like the early 90s, 80s. He's a fucking badass. Good guy.
I believe you.
Yeah,
He wrote a memoir called Writing the Old Gazoo.
oh, good.
Gazoo? Yeah, Gazoo.
Gazoo. What does gazoo refer
Like
to?
right in the kisser.
Like a-
Oh,
kisser.
nice.
Yeah. Popped him in the smeller.
Meanwhile, we had, Ted Kennedy, who was the liberal lion, but probably killed someone.
They were probably friends. Well, whatever. You can't make a democracy without scrambling some eggs.
There's that.
I don't know if there's any skeletons in Mr.
Al
Simpson's
Simpson's
closet.
There's all those guys he killed.
Just all those people he murdered.
All those,
on those
people
elk
he
trips.
punched in the kazoo, I guess. There's them.
Just all those kazoos that he got right up in.
Yeah.
The kazoo is extinct because of Al Simpson. Problem.
Al Simpson, I murdered the kazoos.
That's his follow-up memoir.
No more kazoo.
Yeah. Where he looks back on his life through a different lens.
Sayonara, kazoos.
That's a different lens than I thought.
Publisher that's really
His
this
publisher is
whole
so
thing.
good. His publisher, look, you gotta
really
really just
milked
put the
that.
kazoo thing to bed. I did.
Putting the kazoo thing to bed. Al Simpson.
Don't milk your kazoos. Or
God, that's like one of
mow
those
your lawns.
weird, like semi-successful book-only comedians who, like, God,
Like Dave Barry?
yeah, like kind of like that, where they have like you look at the other books written by,
And
it's
they're all
just,
like
17 different configurations
riffs on the
of a
same
given
fucking
theme.
thing. Or like
Yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
You know Al Simpson, though, right?
I mean, I know of him. but I
Simpson
don't-
Bowles, he's the guy
don't-
who
yeah, I don't really know
they
all that
went,
much
he
about
was
him,
like,
so
hey,
yeah,
look,
yeah.
Obama, this is what you should do. And everyone went, forget it. He's like, okay, you asked.
Yeah.
Politics. We've been all over the map on this Idle Thumbs. It's the couches, man.
it's good.
They fucking get
The couch
inside
is
you.
really